In European history, there was once an empress who was fierce and decisive in politics, with a tenacious character. To seize power, she resorted to such brutal means that she even blinded her own son, leading to his death. She was Empress Irene, the first female ruler of the Byzantine Empire. Irene was born in 752 in a typical noble family in Athens, Greece. Later on, she married Leo, the son of the then Byzantine Emperor Constantine V, during a royal selection of brides. This Leo would later become Emperor Leo IV. At that time, the Byzantine Empire was engulfed in political turmoil. There was intense religious dispute within the empire, with the iconoclasm movement spreading rapidly, leading to societal divisions over matters of faith. Simultaneously, the empire faced military threats from the Bulgars and Arabs. Emperor Leo III initiated a widespread iconoclasm movement in 726, strictly prohibiting the veneration and worship of icons and relics throughout the empire. Under the reign of Constantine V, this movement to destroy icons reached its climax. Yet, strangely enough, Irene was an ardent iconophile, which planted a ticking time bomb for the future religious and political upheavals in the empire. Here, a brief introduction is necessary. The iconoclasm movement, which took place in the 8th and 9th centuries in the Byzantine Empire, aimed at destroying Christian icons and relics. At its core, it was a political struggle against the ruling power of the Orthodox Church and the vast land ownership by monasteries. Within Christianity, the veneration of icons had been a long-standing practice, yet opposing societal forces against such veneration had also emerged within the Byzantine borders. In 775, Constantine V passed away, and Leo IV ascended the throne, with Irene becoming the empress. Initially, Leo IV also sided with the iconoclasts. However, under Irene's influence, he began to lean towards his wife's religious views. Yet, not long after, Leo IV reaffirmed his stance against icons, leading to Irene's displeasure. Shortly thereafter, during a battle against the Arabs, Leo IV suddenly died. Some historians speculate that Irene might have poisoned him. Following the death of Leo IV, his 9-year-old son, Constantine VI, ascended to the throne, with Irene acting as the regent empress. For the next 11 years, she effectively became the de facto ruler of the Byzantine Empire. However, her rule was far from stable. Due to her pro-icon stance, not long after taking power, the Anatolian army, which was in favor of icon veneration, revolted. They supported one of Leo IV's 5 brothers as the new emperor. The rebellion was quickly quelled, and all 5 brothers of Leo IV were forced to shave their heads and enter monasteries. This uprising made Irene realize that the church, most key positions in the empire, and the majority of the military were under the control of the iconoclasts. To solidify her position, religious reform was imperative. In 787, Irene played a crucial role in convening the Seventh Ecumenical Council, which condemned the iconoclastic policies of the previous 2 emperors, denounced the iconoclasts as heretics, and restored the veneration of icons. This victory earned Irene the title of Saint Irene, and she was recognized as one of the 4 great female saints of Eastern Orthodoxy. Still, Irene was not content. She yearned for even greater political power. By 790, as Constantine VI grew older, according to Byzantine tradition, Irene should have handed over the power to her son. However, power-hungry Irene was unwilling to relinquish her grip, especially since Constantine VI had a gentle temperament, allowing her to exploit the situation. She issued decrees declaring herself the supreme emperor of the empire, surpassing her son in rank. She even had her portrait engraved on the empire's gold coins, which stirred widespread discontent. Subsequently, she brutally suppressed the iconoclasts demanding her to cede power and imprisoned her son, Constantine VI. Her actions deeply angered the imperial subjects. The eastern military districts rose in rebellion against Irene, rescuing Constantine VI from prison and proclaiming him the only legitimate ruler of the empire. Irene and her supporters were exiled and placed under house arrest. Constantine VI began to rule alone, but it soon became evident that he wasn't fit to be an emperor, struggling to handle the various challenging issues within and outside the empire. In 791, the Arabs invaded the eastern borders of the empire. Constantine VI promptly signed a humiliating treaty, trading a substantial indemnity for a brief peace. The following year, he led a campaign against Bulgaria, but he quickly fled the battlefield. Constantine's incompetence gradually eroded his subjects' support. In the same year, under the persuasion of some well-wishers, Constantine VI recalled Irene to the capital and restored her original power. This move was seen as a betrayal by the iconoclasts who supported him. They then plotted a new conspiracy, intending to overthrow both Irene and Constantine VI and support Leo IV's brother, Nikephoros, who had become a monk, as mentioned earlier. But the plot was exposed. Showing rare decisiveness, Constantine VI ordered that Nikephoros be blinded and the tongues of his other 4 uncles be cut off. However, Constantine's follies did not end there. In 795, Constantine VI divorced his first wife Maria and married a palace maid. Such an act was not permissible in the Eastern Orthodox Church, sparking further displeasure from the clergy. By this time, Constantine VI had lost the support of almost all his soldiers, the public, and the church. Irene saw a golden opportunity to topple Constantine VI. In 797, she instigated a revolt among the emperor's subordinates, captured Constantine VI, blinded him, and imprisoned him. He died in agony a few years later, making Irene the sole ruler of the empire. Irene's act of killing her son went against basic human morals, causing her, who was already unpopular, to lose even more support. When the Arabs invaded, Irene was powerless to resist and had to promise a huge compensation amount, intensifying the resentment towards her. Conspiracies to overthrow Irene were brewing, awaiting the right opportunity. At this time, it's important to mention the situation in Western Europe. While the Byzantine Empire was faltering with internal strife and external threats, the Frankish Empire, ruled by Charlemagne, had conquered most of Western Europe, establishing the largest empire since the fall of the Western Roman Empire. As a protector of the Pope and having rescued him multiple times, Charlemagne seemed more deserving than Irene to be considered as the Emperor of the Romans. Furthermore, due to the iconoclast movement, the papal court in Rome had gradually distanced itself from the Byzantines and sought the protection of the Franks. Therefore, on Christmas Day in 800, Pope Leo III, asserting that a woman couldn't hold the title of emperor and that the Roman imperial throne was vacant, crowned Charlemagne as the Emperor of the Romans. Charlemagne accepted this coronation based on the Salic law of the Franks, which stated that a woman couldn't inherit the throne. Thus, more than 300 years after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, Europe again saw 2 emperors, symbolically dividing the Roman Empire once more. After his coronation, Charlemagne, aiming to legitimize his title, proposed a marriage alliance with Empress Irene, hoping to unify the Eastern and Western Roman worlds. Irene also wanted to leverage the power of the Franks to solidify her precarious reign in the empire. If the two had married, it would have led to the reunification of the Roman Empire. However, Charlemagne's coronation and Irene's response thoroughly infuriated the imperial subjects, igniting the fuse to overthrow Irene's rule. On one hand, the imperial subjects were enraged at Charlemagne's presumptuous act. On the other, they believed that Irene, as a Roman and especially as a Roman empress, marrying an illiterate barbarian was absolutely unacceptable. In 802, a group of high-ranking officials took over the imperial palace, proclaimed the deposition of Irene, and then elevated the empire's finance minister, Nikephoros, to the throne as Emperor Nikephoros I, leading to the end of the Isaurian dynasty. Irene was exiled to the Prince's Islands in the Sea of Marmara, later sent to Lesbos, and died a year later. Although Irene had once become the first female ruler of the Byzantine Empire and even Europe due to her exceptional political acumen, it's worth noting that she always referred to herself as Basilius rather than Basilisa. Though adept at power struggles, Irene lacked the capability to control the military and subjects within the empire and couldn't repel the external invasions of Bulgars and Arabs. Even though Irene was the first female ruler of the Byzantines and even canonized as a saint by the Eastern Orthodox Church, her domestic and foreign policies were not commendable. Moreover, her religious policies further intensified the empire's turmoil and division. The story about Irene, the first female emperor of Europe, ends here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.